Hello and welcome to the Noise Podcast, sponsored by Stereo Brain Records and brought to you as part of the Noise Podcast Network. Today's episode is a really special one that we're dropping ahead of our first review of the year, where Chris and Sam will be back checking out the new In Flames record. Today Will sits down with Jessie and Aled of Dream State to talk about their recently released EP, the new chapter of the band, and some really inspiring and brilliant conversation between Jessie, Aled and Will around second chances and hard work and how things will pay off if you stick to them. We're excited about what's to come for Dream State. Dream State are excited about what's to come for Dream State, and you should also be really excited about what's coming for Dream State. It's a really cool chat, so be sure to check it out. Like, subscribe, review, check us out on social media. You can find the website at Noise UK on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find the Noise Podcast Network at Noise Podcast Network on Twitter and Instagram. Any share, like, comment goes a really long way. We appreciate every little thing. So enjoy the episode.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me this evening. So I'm joined tonight by Aled and Jessie from Dream State, the South Wales, I guess post-hardcore is probably the loosest or best sort of like descriptor-ish of roughly where to place Dream State's music, but it does a lot more than that, which I guess we'll talk about shortly. But hey, have you both been over the past, I guess, it's been a little while, hasn't it? Actually, I guess you probably been sort of, I guess, working together for a good little while now for the band.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think coming up a year that you messaged me, I think, Alid, now in
last March.
February, March. I think it's when we first had that. Alid initially reached out then asking if I'd be interested. And then I think I got down as soon as I realised I got the gig. I think we started jamming together from like May. And I go up to Wales quite a lot when the boys come down to Birmingham. So it's been a good 9, I reckon, like between 6 and 9 months now of like solid, like full band new lineup.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. That's something I sort of wanted to talk a bit about. Not obviously going too much into what's happened, but because obviously there's just been a lot of change. I guess is the easiest way of saying it. Is, there's been a lot of change in Dream State over the past couple of years, and Aled obviously as I guess the now remaining, I guess, OG member of the kind of the former. What was your thought process in sort of opting to, because obviously, I'm sure you've said like the choice was I either do something completely new or I go forward, or I take, I keep Dream State alive. What was the thought process, I guess, like behind how you approach that?
I mean, yeah, basically that's the choice I was left with, I guess. Yeah, like you said, either push ahead, keep going, or start anew. But yeah, I was just thinking about. I mean, we started the band late 2014, I think, and it's just been non-stop since then. And, put so much time and work into the band, and then just to start over again, I just feel like, I didn't want to let all that go to waste. And since the day one, it was always me and CJ doing the writing and doing a lot of the behind the scenes work and stuff. So I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to keep trying, just go ahead, and I'd rather try and do it and see what happens than, then in a few years look back and regret, like should I have tried it, So
Yeah, I guess you kind of faced with you don't, it's better to have found out what happens if you decided to carry it on
yeah,
rather
exactly.
than sitting there 5 years down the line going, but what if?
Yeah,
Now you can actually just do it.
yeah.
Yeah. And so far, how's it been? How do you think it's been? I guess so far with, because the reception I've seen is there's obviously going to be the odd one or two, but
Yeah.
generally speaking, it's I don't know, it's felt pretty positive to me because a lot of people really kind of loved the people that knew about Dream State kind of really tended to love you guys. I found. And then obviously as it's come back around, I mean, I especially when I was told that this was happening, I was incredibly excited, you know. Is that generally what you found it to be like?
Yeah, I mean, it's gone a lot better than I expected it to be honest. It was a very, remember the week leading up to the first release, and very stressful week. Not much sleep, just overthinking everything. And then when it finally came, and I mean, we were expecting a mixed reaction, of course, but it was more positive than I thought it was going to be, which is really, really great.
Jesse, you said it's been like coming up on a year now that since you joined, since Aled sort of asked, what was it? What was the, I guess the how did it come about for you joining the band? Because if I'm not mistaken, you have had a band before, but it was a while ago, right?
I've fronted bands since I was like 13 years old. As soon
Yeah.
as I could hold a guitar and stand on a stage, I've been doing that since my granddad was a big singer, and I've been in stage school since I was a little kid. So for me, stage is home.
Yeah.
And I fronted a couple of rock bands in my time. My most successful one that I pretty much managed and booked was Aurora, for a band that had no booking agent, no manager. We got on like Slam Dunk, got on tours, were asked to headline shows, and I really enjoyed that. And that was probably 10 years ago now. And for me, a bit like Aled was saying, I'd put so much time and energy into like making it. I wish the scene was honestly like it is now towards female fronted metal, because it was hard for me in Aurora. Stuff like trying to walk on stage and being stopped by a security guard thinking I'm some random fan trying to get on stage, and I'm like, I'm the singer dude, and he's like, oh shit, I'm sorry. And not being
Yeah.
put on a hardcore show because, well, she can't scream, she's a girl, and then out screaming most of the people on the set. So
Yeah.
I've had my ups and downs with the scene, and I think when we got signed to In at the Deep End Records from our first show, we supported Feed the Rhino and got picked up straight away, and that really ignited like my want to be in a rock band. Like if I could be, you know, have a name for myself as someone in the metal scene that's highly respected, I would die for that. And I think Aurora was my first experience really of being in a band. And after spending years and years of my time and energy and money and just not getting those gigs, or not getting like what I guess I was aiming for, I took a time out, you know, bought a house, traveled the world, got married. I guess I grew up and became really stable. And I actually think everything happens personally for a reason. I think looking back, 22-year-old me catching pleurisy, sleeping in a van, compared to where I am now, where I'm about to go off on a headline tour and stay in a hotel. I just feel like for me, it just feels like light years ahead of where I've ever been, but I've never felt more ready. So to answer your question, how it all came about, I actually applied for a death metal band at the start of last year, and for many reasons I wasn't selected, and I was devastated because I felt like, you know what, it's probably because I'm a woman in her 30s who's married. I think my time's over, and I really got in my head with it. I was really disappointed. So I posted a throwback on Facebook with all my like crowd surfing pictures and all my memories of the last 10 years of me fronting music. And I think at the time, maybe Jake had added me on social media, and I'd sort of done like a farewell to music. I was ready to put it to bed, maybe just still write at home, but not take it seriously, because I don't think I'll ever stop writing music. But yeah, so I got this message from Aled, like honestly, a few weeks after being declined from that death metal band that I auditioned for, basically saying, hey, like, here's some songs, would you be interested? And I'd heard of Dream State. I think I'd heard of White Lies. That's the song I remember.
Yeah.
And I heard the tracks, and my husband just looked at me and said, Jessie, I think this is like Aurora 2.0. This is what you've wanted. Like, this is the band you've wanted like your whole life. Because Aurora was quite electronic, it had singing, it had screaming. And I was really lucky to be with some talented guys there. So to hear Dream State and the songs Aled showed me, it was electronic, it was screaming, it was singing. And I thought, do you know what, I'm going to go for this. So I went a bit above and beyond. I went and travelled to Hidden Track Studios in Folkestone, which was like a 4-hour drive for me.
Now, that is quite far, yeah.
Yeah, recorded the tracks with Oz and asked him, like begged him, like, please do these tracks for me, fit me in, you know, paid him for his time. I think Aled wanted me to just do a cover in my bedroom of the 3 tracks.
Yeah.
But I went all the way to Folkestone, got them done. I really wanted to show him what I was made of. I'd love people to hear my version of them as well one day, because I paid money for them and they're quite tight. And then I also paid my friend Josh to film me on stage. Asylum venue in Birmingham, they let me use their stage. They've always been a good family to me. They let me use their stage. Jack did all the lights, and they made it look like I was singing White Lies live. And cut a long story short, I sent all of that footage to Aled, the songs and the video. And I think I remember him being a bit like, bloody hell, you've really gone, you've really gone, put some effort into this.
Yeah.
And then we had a chat based on all of that delivery. And I remember saying to him, like, am I in the band now? Like, is this a thing now? And I think we agreed that I was. And then shortly after that, I met Tom and Jake. And the rest is history, really. Like, most of my weekends have been spent, writing and learning the set and jamming. And here we are now, about to drop our first EP. So it's been an absolute whirlwind, but I honestly feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. And I'm just so excited to see what we can deliver as this new version. And I'm fully understanding that, I wouldn't be here without the platform that Dream State has got. And like I said on my first show, like, I've got nothing but respect and genuine love for CJ in terms of what she did. And I wish her nothing but well. And I'm under no illusion I wouldn't be here without her words and her melodies in the songs. So just truly grateful, to be honest with you, for the opportunity. And this is where we stand today.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's because you mentioned White Lies, and that was kind of like there was a lot of people's introduction to Dream State, wasn't it? It was that song kind of blowing up in about 2016, I think, 2016, 17.
I think.
I'll be honest with you. I was sat in a van. I was sat in a van at the time, and someone played that track. And obviously, I hadn't been in music for about a year or two.
Yeah.
And I remember someone going, "Jess, you'll love this. Listen to it." And I remember sulking, being like, "Yeah, it's all right. It's all right." Sat there, like, just genuinely, like, gutted it wasn't me doing that song, because I don't know whether me and CJ are similar in ways, but when you write something and you're like, that's something I write, like, it's very. So I really resonated with the song, and every time I sing that live now, in the whole 3 shows we played, that's the crowd stopper, where people are just, I'm in the middle of the pit and everyone's just throwing down with me. Like, it's honestly electric, and I can't express my gratitude really to be in this position at the moment.
I guess, like, the dream, like you say, you'd sort of almost ready to give up on it, but it wasn't really done with you, I guess. I've
got so much left to give. Like, I'm just so grateful that I've got such a talented, like, honestly, I don't want to blow his trumpet too much, but Aled, I've worked with some really talented people in my life, really have. And to actually have this one-on-one time with Aled and work together, it just works. I don't know if I'm speaking out of term, Aled, but like, he's like my music husband already. Like, I just feel like it really works.
It's great.
Yeah, we just click. We kind of get each other, but we're still kind of learning to get to know each other. But I remember him coming to my house for the first time and doing the demos for the 3 tracks that are coming out now. And we got pretty much, I'd say, 2.5 of those tracks done in one day together. Like, just stood there. I hadn't got really any material other than his great music. And I'd got lots of lyrics floating around in my notebooks and in my phone. And I just stood there and I just heard, kept listening, and we just went for it. And we did Taunt Me, Comfort in Chaos, And the third song, pretty much in that one day. Granted, it wasn't polished, but it was like rough demos in one day together. And I think that's when I knew. I remember saying to my husband when Aled left, like, I think these are going to be really, really exciting songs to release. And yeah, rewind a few months later, I think Taunt Me, I've been inundated with messages of people just saying how catchy it is or how it's their favourite song. So I'm just really grateful that I've been able to put my melody and sort of words onto such really strong music, really.
And Aled, because Jessie, you've just said like you went really kind of not I guess not overboard, but you went like as much as you could with like really perfecting your, I guess, almost audition. Aled, what was that? Given that you kind of expected just to be getting sort of bedroom covers, what was it like to just turn up with a full performance video? And
yeah, I mean, I was just reaching out to some people, like seeing if everyone interested to join, and then Jessie went and actually did it at some studio, and I was like, wow, this girl's keen. I like the it was nice to see that when someone put the work into it, and you could tell that she was dedicated to getting the role and stuff. So it was a good move.
Sure. And thinking about the music that you've made, obviously two of the songs are out now, Taught Me and Comfort and Chaos. Given that you've done it as an EP, first of all, is that kind of, I guess, a way to test the waters a bit, sort of, exactly, and also as well as getting the new music out there? Because first of all, although you've kind of said that writing wise you clicked very quickly, at the same time, is it not also you're still finding out what you want to be writing together? You've written those 3 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like I say, I had a lot of lyrics floating around, had a lot of pent up anger I needed to release, and I just used the platform across the songs I had to just get them out. And I'm almost confident, you'll hear music from us one day in the future, and it will sound nothing like what we've just done. But that's the beauty of where we're at. I don't personally think we'll ever have just one sound, because speaking for myself, I like all sorts of music, whether it be death metal to show music. So, you don't be surprised if you hear like an absolute pop banger, like just, pure pop from us. And then if I could have it my way, and if I bend Aled's arm enough, I might get that real heavy show off my real dark growls a bit more. But it's a nice blend.
Yeah, I don't like being confined to genres as well. I just don't believe in genres anymore. Like, I mean, this EP coming up now, it wasn't really meant to be an EP in the first place. We were just kind of writing singles, but then, these 3 songs, there was like a recurring theme across them, and we thought, well, these 3 songs perfect for our kind of first EP back. So it kind of made sense to do that, and we're still playing around with new genres, new sounds and stuff, and that's what this whole new EP is kind of about as well. Just trying new stuff and seeing what lands, see what people like, and just having fun with it.
Yeah, I think that's the main key, isn't it? Like, for me, I kind of fell out of love with music after like being so disheartened, trying for so long. So I guess for me, as long as I make a track with Aled and the boys and I feel happy doing it, like, for me, that just warrants any sort of title you can give a song. I think it's just about how I feel doing the music again. And I've never honestly felt happier. Like, the last 6-7 months, I think anyone who knows me has noticed a huge shift in my whole demeanor. Feel like the old sort of me again. And I can't express enough that as long as we're happy with the tracks and we're having fun, then the track will be whatever it will be.
That's the main thing, isn't it? Because at the start of it all, yes, there's going to be fans that are incredibly excited to be hearing New Dream State in 2023, especially after like a near enough 3-year hiatus, I guess. Like, that's not really a hiatus, was it? It was kind of foisted on you by the world ending.
pretty much.
But then, obviously you're coming back with a new lineup. Obviously, you're really, I assume you're really keen to be showing everyone what not only you can do as a band, but like what you can, like Jessie, obviously, like you're being able to go, I haven't been doing this in say 10 years, and I just want to. How much of it, I guess, if you don't mind me asking, how much of it is proving to yourself that you can still do it?
I think that's a great question, and if I'm brutally honest, I think a lot of the songs you'll hear, especially in this EP, it's about a lot of every song to me has got deep meaning, and I think for a very, very long time I've been almost, the way I describe it, I've been on ice since I stepped away from music, which is all I've ever known. Sorry, excuse the pun with the track there, but genuinely all I've ever known, all I've ever known is music, and to stop that for say 5-6 years on a performance level, it's definitely a massive confidence boost to myself, because I feel like I got to a certain age, hadn't quite made where I wanted to be, and please don't believe I just walked in thinking, oh, I should get this. I've been doing it since I could walk, spending a lot of time and energy on lessons in terms of instruments or whatever in my whole life. And when I got this, it's almost given me that, like, I think the first show when we got main support with Counterparts at Throwfest, like Dean, big shout out to him he was like, I saw you playing like 10 years ago, Jessie, and you blew me away. I'm going to give you this slot, show me what you're made of. And it was that almost pressure that I had. And I came on stage, and like, I remember almost crying when I came off, because it was like realization that I'd wasted so long. Like, I really know what I'm capable of. And I think with Dream State, I'm going to continue to push myself. And I guess, like I say, just really show everybody what I can do. Like, the self-belief is definitely coming back. And it's certainly, I certainly will always have the boys to thank for giving me this sort of confidence boost again, and just growing as an artist. Like, it's all just really exciting, to be honest. It's certainly something that I put myself in a box based on stupid reasons that I put in my own head. And now I'm almost feel like I'm breaking out of that, like, stereotypical, like, you're married now, you should follow the next step. I guess what everyone, so many people are like, oh, but you've got married, so what does that mean for your family? And it's like, what the hell? Like, it's just, whether I'm going out of the norm, I don't know, but all I can say is that I'm happy, and hopefully, my confidence will just keep growing.
Yeah. I mean, when I was, so I think Aled, you know him as well, Jack, from Noise, you might know. When he first kind of let me in on that, you guys were sort of that you were working on stuff, and that when he first put your name in, Jessie, he kind of went, he didn't do it as someone's joined the band. He went, this is someone that's been around in the scene and has kind of earned their stripes already, but has just had to be out of it for a bit, So it always, for me, it was always kind of like that's really cool. This is a band that's started, even like you say, Ali, you started in 2014, but I guess the establishing of the band was, arguably there was kind of when the mainstream consciousness came in, like more of the scene started to notice. That's, I guess, I don't know if maybe that's the right word for it, established, but it feels like, you've got an established band now, and you've got an established vocalist who's just had to take a bit of a break, kind of coming together. And for me, that was the really exciting thing, was seeing what would happen, and how that would progress. So you've called it Untethered, and I'm assuming there's a very clear meaning there of first of all, what does it mean to you, I guess?
Aled, do you want to go first, or do you want?
Your lyrics. Do you want to?
I think for me, there's a lot of like barrier breaking, and there's a lot of walls coming down, and there's a lot of anger that's been pent up for too long that I'm releasing in these tracks. And so for me, it's just that the meaning of the EP is like freedom, or like, like a new beginnings. I guess, whilst my confidence isn't where it was just, it's not quite where I want it to be just yet, it's getting there. And I think the song, the EP title for me just is like new beginnings, fresh start, self-belief, and just sort of letting go of like all of these, you can let things fester and just sort of tangle up in you and almost choke you. And I think it just, for me, feels like I'm breaking free of a lot of internal things. And if you listen to the tracks closely, you'll I think a lot of the feedback I've had is a lot of fans, like hardcore Dream State fans. I'm so grateful for them. They've reached out so much about how the songs relate to them. So I think people are understanding the message, and hopefully when you hear the latest track that's going to drop soon, it's almost like a bit of a story, really. But it's just been, like, say, I guess, my life for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well.
Your life for the last 10 years as well. No, it's understandable though, because I think you made mention before, the metal scene and just the alt scene generally, it wasn't exclusively metal. It's not great now, but it's a hell of a lot better for women and femme presenting people than it was 10 even 10 years ago. I remember when all the rage was, it didn't even go away that long ago, was like who's the hottest chicks in metal? Here's the calendar. And it's like, oh my God, some of those people, like you see this and it's like, yes, okay, this person is objectively attractive, but that's really not the point here. Like, that's not the point.
I want
we're
people
trying
to like
across.
my vocal. I don't care if you could put a bag on my head. Tell me I can scream.
Yeah. If you're listening to, if you've just bought your first Dream State CD, you've just bought your first Lacuna Coil CD, you don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't act. So it's good now that the metal scene and the alt scene is in a more accepting place. But there's still definitely, there's still an undercurrent. And I guess with these three songs, something more that's kind of coming forwards to talk about, not just obviously that, but like you say, your own experiences and how it's been for 10 years. But releasing these, you kind of, so Taunt Me was the first, I guess, the comeback single, if you like. And you kind of it just kind of happened, it almost seemed to have very little fanfare. Was there a decision to do that? Or because, was it just sort of like a quickly put it out there and go, oh, hey, here you go?
Yeah, because a lot of people make up their minds before actually hearing things these days. And I thought, right, if we announce, the thinking was, if we announce new song coming Friday, a lot of people would make their minds up before they even hear it. So I thought it's probably best we just release it out of the blue before anyone can make their minds up. They hear it and then go from there. Because there's been there's been people who are like, oh, I don't like it, but then they go, oh, actually, now I've listened to it, I like it. So it was just trying to limit that, I guess, because unfortunately it's just the way the internet is these days. So and it was also kind of fun because the way time zones work, it came out in Australia before like anyone else in the world, obviously, because they're like 12 hours ahead. And then that was kind of fun to watch all that unfold as people were like, wow, new Dream State, what the hell is going on? Ah! So that was kind of fun.
Amazing. And you've talked about the kind of dialing up the electronic elements, because they're there obviously, with Primrose Path especially. Yeah. But here they're not less subtle, but they're certainly more prominent.
Yeah, that's just because when we did the album with Dan Weller, I was shadowing him a lot, and I was kind of learning how, like, the process of how to do those kind of sounds. And then during lockdown, obviously, we all had a lot of time, so I kind of taught myself a bit how to get better at music production. So I stepped up that during lockdown, and then
now you're a genius.
Well, just kind of self-taught during lockdown. And I've always been a huge fan of like EDM, electronic, drum and bass, dubstep kind of music, and ever since like the EP with White Lies on it, there's been a sprinkle of like kind of electronic stuff on that, but as the releases come out, it's kind of more prominent. And with the upcoming single, it's prominent as hell. But it's good. It's gonna be good.
It was Recovery, wasn't it, with White Lies?
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name then.
It's fair enough. No, it's funny because like that. So the two EPs and the album have been like they've not left my like fairly regular rotation in the last
Oh, really?
4, 5, 6 years, however long it's been. And now obviously I've been lucky enough to hear that new song that's coming out as well as the other two.
Have you?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about then with the electronics.
Yes. And it's I do really like it, It's I think you're kind of right in doing in that there are people that are going to be at first, oh, I don't like it, because people like the internet doesn't like change, right? They hate when bands change and they hate when bands stay the same.
Exactly. But at the same time, that's what this whole EP is about. It's about, we're just trying different sounds. And I feel like the 3 songs on this EP, they're all kind of trying, different
They all
things.
do try fairly different things.
Yeah, like Tommy's just got like kind of, don't know, riff. It's got a cool bouncy riff, and then Come From Chaos is a little bit heavier. And then now we're going the completely opposite direction with this third one. And that's what I love about music. And you can do whatever the hell you want as long as you like it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think if people can hear that you're enjoying what you're doing and you believe in what you're doing, they're far more likely to come on board than if you were going, it has to sound like White Lies 2.0.
Yeah, no, we've done that. If you want to hear that, go back and listen to it.
Yeah,
I can't be anyone else. I can only really be me as well. So, I've read a lot of the comments and stuff, and whilst it's really nice that people are like, oh, it's a similar vibe, I can only be myself. I'm not trying to be anybody else. And I do think I'll bring probably a heavier element to the band where Aled will let me.
Maybe
if I had it my way, the whole EP would have been pretty dark. But I'm really glad that we've done a few different tries, because it's funny, when we're recording with Oz, the most recent song, he was like, Jessie, your voice is beautiful. Like, why don't you sing more? And I was like, no. But maybe I will. Who knows? Like Aled said, it's the beauty of music. You can just do what you want.
Yeah, you can just try something, and if it doesn't work, you don't have to stick at it. You can try something else.
Yeah.
And I guess like the last thing I wanted to come on to is something you've already alluded to, is that one of your kind of first like inaugural comeback shows was with Counterparts, and now we've got coming up is Loomfest in April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're doing a headline run of shows. It's really, it almost feels like, even though obviously time has passed and you're coming back, and although there's, like you said, there is a similar vibe musically, but you've still, there's still a new identity, clearly, to obviously, first of all, your vocals, but also musically, it does feel like a band that's taking new steps.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, it's clearly not, and I guess this is partly maybe the idea of not doing a clean break is because people know what you can do as Dream State, and they know what you've done before, Jessie, and they can say, we want you to open for to be main support for Counterparts. We want you to be headlining Loomfest.
And I can't believe it. It's mad. It's mad what we've been offered when we've got no team. I'm overwhelmed, and it's a credit to the band and all of their hard work, really, that we're sort of getting all. I'm under no illusion that a lot of the shows have come from the platform they had before, but then it's great that they're hearing our new stuff and still wanting us on that same level. It's a dream come true for me.
I was going to say, I'm sure that's got to be a big part of it, right? Is because on the one hand, yes, like you say, there was a platform built before, but you're the one that's on that platform with them now, and the fact that people are still saying, hell yes, we're having you. You know, we're booking you for, I think, like the Underworld's the main venue for Loom, isn't it? The big one.
Yeah.
It's not nothing. It's you know, it's not just because of before. It's because you're doing something too.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Say everyone has been. I think it's been a really positive reception. You know, I could be Hayley Williams and still get haters. You know, I've noticed her latest releases and Architects, the bands that I adore. I could be that big superstar level and still have haters. So I'm just going to stay me, stay humble, work hard, and hopefully my music will just speak for itself, really, and keep getting these shows.
I will vehemently disagree with anyone who doesn't like the new Paramore.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't even know what it sounds like.
You've not heard it
Shows
yet,
me.
or have you just?
I don't listen to Paramore. I don't know what they sound like.
Fair enough. Well, I get it, but yeah, the point stands though, right? Is that it doesn't matter how big the band gets. Someone
Yeah.
is always, in fact, the bigger your band gets, the more people are going to hear it and go, no, not for me. And I have to say how much it isn't for me.
Yeah.
I mean, like Architects with their latest album. I mean, I think it's great, but like the amount of backlash they've had online, it's painful.
I'll
Like-
not tell you what I thought of it then. No, I did enjoy bits of it for sure. But again, the point stands that people are going to hate on it.
Yeah.
If you're being constructive about why you dislike something, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's allowed to, not like
Yeah.
it. You don't need to go online and like.
Yeah, but there's no need to be terminally online about it. Yeah.
Exactly.
But anyway, that kind of wraps up everything. So thank you so much for your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
having
you. Yeah, thank you so much for having us. It's personally my first podcast, so it's not been too painful. So thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome.
Get used to it.